So tonight's homework is about multiplying 2-digit by 1-digit numbers using the array model. And I'm going to review how we learned about this today. So before we get started on the array model, just a quick reminder. When we multiply numbers like 50 times 8, I'm going to take those digits that I know from my math facts. So 5 times 8, I know is 40. And then there's 1 0. I'm going to tack that on to the end of the product of 50 times 8. So 5 times 8 is 40, and then I'm going to tack on a 0 to match the 0 from the other side of the equation. Same thing for 4 times 700. So I'm going to multiply 4 times 7, which is 28, and then I have 2 zeros to tack on. We've been talking about how when we decide where to place the comma, we start over on this side, and then we count 1, 2, 3 spots over, and that's where I'm going to put my comma. So this is going to be important for us because we need to use this as part of the array model. On last night's homework, we labeled arrays. So like on A, we labeled that there were 5 rows and 4 columns, and then we wrote the equation that represents that rectangle, which is 5 times 4, and the area of that rectangle is 20. So we use that today to multiply larger numbers. I'm going to show you that on the next slide. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 2-digit number 58, and I'm going to write it in expanded notation. So 58 is the same as 50 plus 8. And I have a lot of room on this page, so I'm going to write it big so I can see it. So 50 plus 8, and then I'm going to draw a line right underneath there, and that's going to be the top of my rectangle. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a vertical line down from the left side. And on the left side of that line, I'm going to write 6. And you might notice that this is beginning to look like a division symbol. And we're going to make that connection when we learn how to divide in a few weeks. So I'm going to finish my rectangle. And I'm going to draw a line down from the plus sign, or the addition symbol. And now I need to write the equations that represent the area of each of these parts of the rectangle. So this is 6 times 50, which equals, I know 6 times 5 is 30, and then I'm going to tack on a 0. And this is my area of this smaller rectangle, the area of this part of the rectangle. And then for this part, it's 6 times 8, 6 times 8, which is 48, and that's the area of this part of the rectangle. So last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 2 parts of the product, so 300 plus 48, and I get my total product, which is 348. So 58 times 6 is 348.